Hey guys, it's me, Lord of Time 23, and I am back for our 4th episode of my Sims 4 tutorial series. And on this episode, we are going to be focusing on roofs. So obviously, we in the rest of the series have been working from this lot here where I have my Sim self. But I'm just going to go to another random lot for this video, just so that I can have plenty of room. We're going to do some other things to the house that I've been using for the tutorial later on. So for now, I'm just going to go to another lot and I'll show you some easy tips and tricks. So it's kind of cool. You can see the house we've been working on there across the street. But we're just going to jump right into this. So I'm going to put just a random block to start here. And we're going to show just the beginning basics. I know obviously I have used the roofs in a few of the other episodes, but I'm just going to really, dive into it and explain kind of every little detail about them. So first off, I'll show you the different shapes. I won't make it the full size yet. So we have this shape here. Maybe I will make it the size of the roof just so that makes a little more sense. One more. Okay, so all of your roofs are going to start off on a 3x3 grid. You can tell also by the grid's on the floor, or you can see that there are only 3 panels on this. So it's going to be a 3x3 as soon as you place it, and then from there you are able to select it and manipulate it more. But this is our first roof option here, which is just a normal roof with a peak at the top. Get rid of that. Then we have this one here, which is, it brings you to a peak from all 4 sides. There aren't any open or exposed areas. We have this one, which is basically the peaked roof, except it's just one half of it. So you can put 2 of these together technically to create one roof. It won't let me do it right now because the lot underneath isn't as big, but you can use this as 2 sides, but I mean, why would you if you have this one to use? But this can be good for adding little things, like if you can see on the front of our tutorial house over there, I did this little flat part and then had the peaked roof coming out of the front where the doorway is. It can just, it's nice to kind of add different angles to your roofs. You don't want everything to look identical because that's not how real houses actually look. So that one there. Then we have this roof here, which as you can see, it's similar to this one on this side, but if you do turn it around, it's a flat edge. So this would be one that you would, if you had, I'll build one quick, this little room off the side of a bigger room, and it had a second floor. And then if you turn the camera, you can see it just kind of blends into the house better because it is a flat side. And then once again, you can manipulate any of the roofs. I'll go over more of these controls in a second. I just want to show you all the different types first. So we'll get rid of those. Back to roofs. So now, these are your 4 basic ones. You're going to be using these more than anything else. But once in a while, you might make one of the rooms that have the different angles on an octagonal room. And if you do make one of these, it could be good for like gazebos. If you have kind of this thing here with the walls, you could take the fences and actually switch them up, so you can make like a real gazebo that kind of has a roof on it. And but that's what these would be for here. So this one obviously isn't exact shape. You can make the walls different. I just selected a pre-selected room there. So there's a 6-sided one, an 8-sided one, which would actually fit this because the walls have 8 sides, a 5-sided one, a completely round one, which you are able to make rounded rooms in the sense of the porches or the platforms. So I'm going to go back to this spot here. If I were to scroll down, you can see this one where it's rounded. If I were to place it, the edge is round there. I can lift it to make it a little bit higher. And you can maneuver these here to be smaller. Once I have that, you could, I think that's actually 1 square too big. You could actually take this, copy it, and go all the way around. They'll automatically attach to each other. And now I have a circle base. So from here, I could put some fences on there. We'll put some all the way around just to show you. Obviously, you'd have one of these spots open so that you could actually do stuff with it. And then if you actually had a roof on top of here as well, you could take one of these and it would fit right on top of the build. And you could actually have a little gazebo thing. It can look cute. There's different tricks and things you can do for those. And then I'm just going to get rid of this because we don't need circle rooms all over our lots. If you keep going down the list, you'll start to notice that these look very similar to the ones I was telling you you will be using more than anything else. However, these ones will always start on an angle. So unfortunately with these roofs, you can't turn them diagonally. You can only turn them left, right, or front and back. But these roofs here would be more for your diagonal. So you can only turn them the 4 ways of on an angle as opposed to going straight up and down. So even if I were to place that on there, it's obviously not going to fit because the room isn't diagonal. And that's basically what all of these are going to be here too. It's just the same versions of the 4 that you're mainly going to use, except on angles. So we have our little box here. Like I said, I'm going to put this down like that. And when you have it selected, similar to the rooms or platforms, foundations, anything that you're really grabbing, if you select it, you're going to get a little tool option here. So picking the roof, we'll start with the basics up here. So we have just the turn, the rotate. If you hover over them, it will tell you what they are as well. Move, which you've been seeing me use this whole time. And then copy, if I wanted the same roof, say if you had 2 peaks in the front of the house and you wanted to have one of each roof on either side, you could just copy the exact same one, which is handy, especially if you have taken the time to, maneuver it a certain shape or a certain way, and then you don't want to find that exact spot again. You can just copy it and you'll have literally the identical roof there. So that's definitely a handy little trick. That's it for like the top square options that you have there. Down here though, you can see that there's all these little arrows and circles and confusing things coming off of the roof. So first I'm going to start with the basic. When you do click onto it, you have your arrows to adjust how big you want the roof to be. So if I had more of a room there, obviously, or if I made the room smaller or bigger, I can adjust the roof accordingly. As you do see though, when I'm going side to side like this, it is automatically bringing the peak up. Not to worry though, that's not something that you're stuck with. You can always take this arrow that's at the top here and pull it down. So now it's at the same height that we had it before. It's just elongated a little bit more. And you can do same thing with the back and the front, moving it forward or backwards. So those arrows that are actually pointing are more for just moving it in different directions, manipulating which direction the roof's going to go or how long it's going to be, so on and so forth. And then next you can see it is a different type of arrow, which are these ones here. So on this type of roof, you can see that there's one on this edge, the peak's edge. There's one on this edge, which is the side edge. And then same thing for here and down at this part. And if I were to grab one of these roofs, you can see that there is also just one on the corner. It's not on each side. And that would be because the whole edge of the roof is going to move down when you pull this. You aren't able to just do one side or the other because it's one shape in a sense, whereas this has 2 different sides that you can manipulate. So clicking it, just to show you what it does, if I were to pull this, watch both ends of the roof from here to here, you'll see that the edge of the roof actually becomes longer. So going down, you can just see that there's a little bit of a lip now underneath of it, and you can do the same thing on the side here. So obviously most roofs aren't going to look like that, but there might be certain situations where you want your roof to be a lot more overhanging than it was before. It just depends what you're building more or less. Another handy trick that I wanted to show you with these arrows in particular, and a lot of people I don't think actually know that they're able to do this. If you were trying to build, let's say, pull my wall tool out again. We had a roof here. Or sorry, a room there and a second floor there. When you look at the side of this roof actually sticks out quite a bit. Same with the front, because like I said, they'll move together no matter what. So if I were to move it, you'd see it's not sticking out on this wall now. However, it looks way too short here. That doesn't look very nice for the front side of a house. You more want it to look like what we did over here, where it's overhanging a little bit. So there is a way around that, and I actually found this out recently, and I've been using it like crazy ever since. If you select your roof, click your shift button and hold it down, and then go to one of these arrows, it will only move the one side. So if I do it while holding shift and let go, so this side is still long, but now this side has become short, but obviously this is a side that we would want short, so I'm going to hold shift, click this and drag, and now we still have the overhanging front part here, which obviously looks much nicer. And then on the side of the house here, it's not actually sticking over it, making just kind of that little lip that doesn't fit very well. I mean, most houses, they would end right here. It wouldn't be going partway into the paneling of the wall. That's just, I don't know, kind of weird. So just to go over that again, when you have it selected, holding shift, you can pull it back, forward, and you're only going to move one side. Or if you do want both sides moved, you would just do forward this way or backward that way. So pretty basic there. We'll leave that one on there, but I am just going to go to the second floor quick to show you the example of the other roof. So for this one, like I said, you can only manipulate the one side because all four sides will move together. The shift option doesn't do anything for this. So when you pull it, as you can see, it kind of has that flat lip like this did. So if I pull it, now it has that nice kind of lip underneath of it, which honestly makes it look normal compared to this one. This is literally, now that I'm realizing, the same shape that I did over here. I never built this shape of house, but maybe just because I did it recently, I'm trying to show you the same basics. And then same thing, you can move it up, down, have it really high peaked if you really wanted to. I think that's the highest you can go, or you can bring it all the way down as low as you possibly wanted to. But these are definitely really handy just to get your roof to look a little more normal, or maybe weird if you're going more for that. So just delete that now. The other thing I wanted to show you on here too, which can be really fun to manipulate and use, is these. I'm just going to pull it up to show you a little bit more. These circles here. So these circles are used for changing the overall shape of your roof. So whether you want it to have more of kind of an Asian house look, you could do this and have the roof slanted like that, and pull this out more if you want it to have more of that, or same thing this way, just to give it more of that different look. I don't use this as much. I more use, if you go the opposite way, the barn look. So I would love to live in a barn house. It's probably one of my dream houses. So I'm constantly making them on Sims. I absolutely love barn houses. This roof does look a little odd, but that's okay. So I absolutely love barn houses. I build them all the time. I don't know, I would die to live in one. So I end up using this pitch a lot to do that. And the other thing that I've learned recently about these pitches, I actually had to watch a bunch of tutorials on roofs maybe 4 or 5 months ago, just because I was horrible at roofing houses before. I didn't even really give it a shot. It was tedious, it was annoying, and a big part of it was because I didn't know all of these options were actually available. So last thing I'm going to show you with these circle things, if you go over to it and while it's selected, hit shift and then C, you can now see that all of these other circles have shown up too, or just 2 more in this case. So what that does for you is make it where you can adjust this bottom part and bring this one up or down as well. And it will just kind of give it more of that, see the swoopy look to it. So you kind of have the half inverted and the half outverted roof. Or if we do it the opposite way, you can get tons of different shaped roofs, and I didn't even know that the shift and then C was an option. So just to go over it again, click it. If you don't want those little ones to be there and you just wanted to use the one, because there is a difference. This one will do it more towards the peak, whereas this one's going to do it more towards the bottom. So shift C. now makes it so that it only happens in the middle. So you're just making the one change, whereas if you're going the other way, you're making 2 changes. So there's a lot of different like shapes of roofs that you can get. I'm just going to build like a random bunch of blocks in a sense, I guess, and we'll try to roof it quickly just so that I can show you guys. I'm not going to do a layout on the inside or anything, so hopefully this doesn't take too long. We'll leave that like that. Maybe do that. Actually, I'm going to bring this whole part out to about there. Okay, so even if you're building like a certain layout that you want, I did say in my previous video, like I prefer to do the whole outside of the house the way that I like it, and I'll get everything shaped the way that I like it, and then I'll go in and make a layout. However, not everybody's going to build that way. So if you do prefer to make the layout of your house first, like, I don't know, let's say I did do this randomly, but let's say this is your bathroom, your main bedroom. Downstairs, you could have like living room, kitchen, a guest room, and another bathroom or something like that. Very odd shaped rooms, but we're not actually using it for that. So say if you made your layout first where you want your doors, your stairs, so on and so forth, and this is what you're left with, and you're like, oh my gosh, where do I start roofing this thing? You, honestly, it's going to be different for every house. You're just going to have to play around with the roofing tool, but there's good things to think about when you start to do it. So definitely you want to use a little bit of everything. Like you don't want to use the same type of roof all over everything, just because it doesn't look realistic. Sometimes I guess you could use this roof twice still somewhere on one of these panels. I just wouldn't use the same roof the whole time. So say if we had that like that, we'll put a flat one here, or flat on the end anyways. Bring it down. And always make sure you blend it into the roof beside it, and check the other side to make sure it's not peeking through here, because if I did go far enough, it is going to peek through to the other side, which we don't want it to, obviously. You wouldn't see it like that normally. So we'll pull this down. Because of that, I don't want that little bit there. A trick that I can do is grab this, pull it back to the edge here where it would meet with that, and then I'm going to take one of these roofs and place it down directly behind it. I don't know if that's quite lined up. Make sure it's the same length. You're going to bring it down so that it's the same height and it matches this roof. Up one more. Okay, well, close enough. You get the premise of it anyways. And then you would take this and do that shift button and pull so that it's not on there, but you still have a piece of roof that's going through here. It won't matter as much on the other side because we don't have the roof directly to where that would be, but it's going to be little tricks like this kind of thing here where you can, you're literally just manipulating different types of roofs to make it all fit properly. So I'm not going to leave that one there. Or this is why I like making the outside better. Just seeing that might be a little bit of a pain to try to work with. You could always take your room, make it a little bit smaller, and now I'm able to just put this here, easy peasy. Because while you're playing, you're not really looking at your roofs a ton, right? So if you just want to get them on, start playing the game, we'll put those two at the top there to make it a little bit easier. If we have an L-shaped piece here like this, I would take one of these, which is the one where all 4 sides come to a peak, place it on the corner here. I'm going to lower it a little bit and then pull it all the way over. Now, as you can see, right here, the roof is obviously going into the build in a sense, like going into the walls. But if I were to go down a page and put the walls down, because this is a pre-built room, you can see by selecting it, it will automatically not show the walls or the roof on the inside of it. So even if I were to put the walls up, it doesn't. But on the outside, you can see that the roof technically should be going right into the room, but because it's an official room, it won't actually, cut through the walls and make it look crappy on the inside of your house. So we're just going to pull that down. And a good trick why I like using these in a lot of the corners too, you can see that the peak right now is in the middle. I could just pull it over to the side one more. And now the peak is right up against the house. We'll move it down a little bit. So now it kind of looks like the corner's going in there. So we have those two parts on. And then we have these two little ones in the back. So I would say for this one, you could even use this flat roof. I find with these flat roofs, because as you can see, they automatically come on such a high angle. I place them on the ground first, and then I kind of get them to where I want them. So I know this is a 1 square strip. So I'm just going to pull this over to 1 square size, grab it. Whenever you're holding on to something too, if you try to use your arrow buttons to turn the camera, it's just going to turn whatever item you're holding on to. So that's why I'm constantly clicking this down to go to my camera options. So then I'm just going to line this up with the strip here, pull it across. We're going to lower it a little bit just because that's really high up there. And then, like I said before, hold shift so that just this side gets pulled down. And now we have our little back piece there. I think I might actually do that as well, because sometimes it is okay to have your roof like this, because if you go here to add roof trims, just hover over it, you'll be able to see it. Then some of these will actually make it look a little bit thicker and make it kind of flood into the house better. I use this one a lot in all the different colors. There's wood ones, black ones, so on and so forth. But those are just kind of nice to hide any little imperfections that you might have on your roofs. So like I said, it can be such a tedious process to make roofs. It's literally my least favorite thing in the game. But obviously, you just keep fiddling around with it until you have something that you think looks nice. So then for this one, before I actually put a roof on there, I just want to show you that you are able to have flat roofs, or because this is on a second floor, if I did just want this to be, let's say, a balcony, instead of putting a roof there, you could grab any of these fences, and I'm just going to do with a single line tool. Use it just like you would the wall tool. And we'll add a door just to show you. So now this is like a balcony that your Sims can actually come out on. In the island living one, they have what are they called? Like lawn chairs, I guess, that you can actually go tanning and sunbathing in. So whenever I have a house with one of these, I always end up putting one of those chairs there, just because, I don't know, I think it fits, I guess. I could just imagine myself sitting on a balcony, like sun tanning or something. I'll put one there just to show you guys quickly. There's a random one. So most of these would come from Island Living. I don't have my BB Move objects on, but you get the premise. You could put that there. Now it's kind of like a nice little sitting area that your Sim can come out. And it's also kind of a good way to avoid having to put a roof there if you just put a balcony. But obviously not all houses are going to have little balconies there. So if we didn't do that, I'm just going to delete these fences quick. And we did want to have a roof here, or maybe even a flat roof if you're doing a community lot. You could just go to your walls section again, this L that I was talking about in previous episodes, and we're just going to select the flat square. So this flat square is, think of one of these rooms. See how it's a pre-selected room. So the floor is obviously a part of that. So this square here is basically the floor of one of these rooms, just with no walls or anything on it. So if I were to click this, it still counts as a room. It just doesn't have a ceiling or walls. If you did want to add a ceiling to it, that's what this yellow bar is here. Build ceiling, and then select the room again. If I don't want the ceiling there, remove ceiling. Another way to, if I had a ceiling built, if I didn't want this ceiling here, take your delete tool, boom, ceiling's gone. But anyways, so what I usually do if I'm making a flat roof for, a community lot, or sometimes I use them on houses, I guess, is I will take this flat square option, which, like I said, is just basically a floor, and then I'm going to grab it, move it up to wherever I wanted it. It automatically fit itself on top of there. And then from here, similar to the roofing options, we have these buttons. I did kind of go over them in previous episodes, but I didn't really go over this one because it's more used for platforms or decks or something like that. So obviously we have our move, rotate, copy. This is wall height, which I did go over in previous videos as well. So it just makes the walls higher. I never usually play with the higher ones. I usually leave it at short wall, normal height. But you can make your walls whatever height you want. And then these tools here, if you go over it, will say raise platform or lower platform. So I am just showing you this on the outside, but you could do this trick for if you wanted a front porch. You could put this in front of here and then, you know, move it, manipulate it afterwards. Actually, if anything, I would put the front porch on this side, I think. And we'll pull it over one. And then you can either use this tool to raise the whole lot, or you can grab this and use this to raise just portions of it. See? So now it's higher than the rest of the house. So the house is still on the ground level, but now you have kind of this porch area here. And if it was higher, I think you could still do it for this though. You can actually add stairs to it. So if you go right up against it, you'll see that it turns green. And you can place the stairs there. So the reason I'm showing you that is because when I'm doing a flat roof on houses or any build, this is the way that I'll do it. So I'll make it so that it's a little bit higher. You can go to your L shape here, the walls and empty rooms, and go to your platform trims. And in here, you can use any of these. We do have white trims in our house, so I'll probably just stick to a white trim. But you can use any of these to make this kind of thing, or if you wanted it to be flat, you would select one of those. It would just be flat on the house, but I think the lip looks a little bit nicer. And then you're going to grab your fences tool, or even the short wall tool works too. I'll show you that. But in my fence tool, I'll usually find you have a lot of these ones that are just literally like a flat line. Like it's not actually a fence and your sim can actually still step over them and everything. So I use this one a lot if I'm doing this roofing trick. And I'll put it on the edge, and it gives it kind of that nice flat roof look on all sides there. Or like I said, if you would prefer to have the flatter one, especially if you're doing the fence, it might look a little bit better. You could just grab this and make the whole thing flat, and it kind of flushes in with that. So it's an easy way that you can get like a flat roof on. But the other way you could do instead of the fences, I'm just going to do our undo button. Okay, we have our flat roof again. So the other way that you can do it instead of fences is by using half walls. Because no matter what, when you're building a flat roof, you want to have some sort of edge on it. If you think about in real life, anybody building a building that would have a flat roof, you're going to want some sort of edge in case there's any workers that go up there or maintenance guys. You don't want them falling off the edge. So most of the buildings that we know are going to have that edge on it anyways. So without it, I just find it doesn't look as realistic. So we'll go to half walls here. And you can see that you have tons of different size options. So this one is our smallest one. And you can see how thick it is. Like it's the tiniest little piece. So you could line that up on here. And the only thing with the half wall trick is that it will line up with your previous room. Like a wall is going to go on top of a wall no matter what. So that's why, because we raised the room's platform level, it's lined up with the half wall. But if I were to lower it one again, then you can see that you have that little lip there. The nice thing about this too is whatever color you're making your house, I'll just pick this so it's noticeably different. It actually fills in that little gap too. Whereas if you're using the trims or the fences, it's obviously going to be a different color. So it might not look as nice or smooth, so on and so forth. So this is kind of a way to get the whole lip on there as opposed to having a fence that doesn't really fit in as well. This is kind of one that makes it just look like a smoother look. And you can also have this too, like just this little edge here with a door. Like beforehand how I was showing you with the fences. And this is still accessible to your Sims. You're still able to go in here, no problem. Which is definitely super nice, because if you don't like some of the fences, or you, like I said, you do just want it to be smooth, you could always make these walls higher if it is going to be more of a sitting area instead of just like a flat roof. So that does give you kind of options there. Like if I just made these a little bit bigger, you now kind of have like a flat area, kind of like, I don't know, it's more enclosed. People wouldn't really see it as much from down below, or maybe you could even fit it into more of kind of a modern build. So that's a really cool trick that you could do with the half walls too. I'll just leave it like that for now. And then lastly, before I wrap this video up, because I know it's been kind of tailing on for a bit, I just wanted to show you this roof sculptures option. So I did leave the door there, but if you were doing this for type kind of like a community lot or a public lot, where, you know, the building just has a flat roof on it, you can put these kind of things on here to decorate like what would be on top of a flat roof. So there's like this one, or this is from Get Famous, I believe. So I mean, they are kind of bulbous. This is like a small example, but that's something else that you can do to just add little decorations. And then with everything else in here too, you can see that there's things like that you could add to the front of your roof to kind of make it look like there's a window there. So typically if you had this here, you would build a square of wall underneath to kind of make it look like it fit in properly. This would be like the topper. Same thing with like, there's other types of peaks from other packs and everything. You could put like a flag on top of your roof somewhere if you wanted to, or these are really cute. I use this one all the time on top because it's one of those kind of compass things with that the wind can manipulate. So those are nice to add. It just adds little details that you can kind of make it, once again, look a little more realistic. The more little things that you put on here, the little details are what are really going to make a build, and you'll appreciate them so much more. It's going to take a lot of time to, you know, play around with these roofs and get them looking the way that you want them to look. Trust me, I totally understand it. But once you do get it done and you get these little decorations on and kind of make it your own, it's really satisfying to have like a realistic, nice looking roof. So I think that is pretty much it for all of my roof tips that I have for you guys. I hope this was helpful. I know I was kind of all over the place with it, but it just depends on what build you're doing, like I said before. So if you did like this video, I do have some other tutorial videos on my channel as well. I'm doing a whole Sims 4 tutorial series right now. This is episode 4, and I still have plenty of them planned out to do. So if you do see something that you do need help with that I haven't made a video on yet, just leave a comment down below. Or message me on my Instagram page or on Twitter, and you can make any sort of recommendation or ask me any questions that you guys might need help with, and I will add it either to my queue of videos, or if I can just help you in the moment, then I can. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Stay tuned for my next episode. I'm probably going to be posting some build videos soon too, just to kind of break it up a little bit on my channel. So stay tuned for all that, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Okay, bye!